Ok, iniziamo questa seconda sessione dell'11ª assemblea sulla gentilezza, World Kindness Movement. So let's start with second section of this assembly with international speakers. So I'm very proud, very honored to be right now here with you talking about kindness. Je vais essayer de parler aussi en français, donc bienvenue à tous ceux qui préfèrent écouter ce speech en français aussi. Vous êtes les bienvenus. Je suis vraiment très contente d'être ici avec vous en partageant la gentillesse et la bienveillance aussi. Quindi cercherò di parlare con voi switchando dall'italiano, passando all'inglese e al francese. We talked about kindness, and for us kindness is very important, but it's very natural, but we know that we have to spread kindness, even in this special moment in all the world. So I'm very proud and honored to come here in the stage, the president of World Kindness Movement, the Dr. OK. Thank you. Et j'accueille le président de World Kindness Movement ici. Il va nous parler de comment partager de la bienveillance. Merci. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone in the room. My predecessors in the office, Amiable Secretary General, invited guests, and all the delegates across the globe. I want to appreciate everyone for coming to this August event. And I believe that what we are going to learn today will be something that will impact positively in our societies, in the communities where we come from, in our cities, as well as our various countries and the globe at large. Now, I want to talk on spreading kindness. First, the theme for this August event is not just chosen for mere sake, but for the purpose of what is happening and how we can impact positively in our generation. Now, when we talk about spreading kindness, kindness is not just a word, it's an action word. And for one to be kind, the acts and the intents must meet in order for acts of kindness to be effective. Now, I just want to share briefly regarding what transpired some years ago in the early 60s, most especially I think that should be 1960 in particular. There was a man who is a physicist, a professor, and the president of the University of Tokyo. And his name is Seiji Kaya. And being the president of the University of Tokyo, he had a bitter experience that turned out to be positive thereafter. And what was the experience? He was walking on an alley in Tokyo, and he was attacked by some group of bandits, and he was robbed of his possessions. And nobody came to his rescue, despite the fact that there were a lot of people around him, and there were standby, and there were other people that would have rescued him from the hands of the attacker. But they refused to do that. They felt that everyone should mind his or her own business. Thereafter, after the experience, in 1963, he had an occasion where he delivered a speech during the graduation of the students. And these were his profound words. I quote from Cecilia. Said, I want all of you to be brave in practicing small kindness, thereby creating waves of kindness that will someday wash over all Japanese society. And that was his valedictory speech to the graduating students in 1963. And in that year, that singular speech from Professor Seiji Kaya transformed the lives of the students and translated to a movement. And that movement was what gave rise to the small kindness in Japan. And from there, it became a national slogan that everyone must be involved, that everyone must be intentional, that everyone, all hands must be on deck to ensure a kinder Japan, where there will be no more bystander, where everyone will be good neighbors to each others, where kindness will be on top of the agenda, and where everyone must watch one another. And that was the intent. The intention of that speech was to give rise to a better society. And the intention of the speech was to ensure that Japan, as it then was, would be known to be a kinder society. And so many media, both print and the televisions and other journalists that were in attendance during the Tokyo Olympic, they took it up, and that became a widespread event that gave rise to about 117,000 people indicating the intention to be part of the movement in Japan. And also, it also helped Japan in the hosting of the 1964 Olympic, the Summer Olympic in Tokyo. And beyond that, about 35 prefectorial members were also adopted to become a member of the community of kindness. And that is what every one of us can also do. Spreading kindness is not the business of just few people, but everyone must be intentional. And how can we do that? It doesn't matter the quantum. It doesn't matter what you intend to give. Like in the World Kindness Movement, we have 3 cardinals. First, to inspire. Secondly, we are to also to engage in kinder causes. And thirdly, we are also to influence acts of kindness. Now, how do we influence acts of kindness? First, you can't give what you don't have. And as is stated in Latin maxim, nemo daque non habet. You can only give what you have. And you can only influence based on your areas of influence. And that is what spreading kindness is about. And more so, kindness is infectious. It doesn't matter what somebody may be in the past. That person can be a change agent today. We have seen situations where hardened criminals and people without motives who are pretenders now becomes somebody that will be relevant in the spread of kindness. In 1996, because of the effects and the impacts of the small kindness in Japan, the then president of the small kindness in Japan rallied around the world and brings people of like minds together. That this can not just be for small kindness in Japan alone, but rather let this word to spread the wave of kindness, let it not just be only in the society in Japan, but across the globe. And in 1997, about seven countries, delegates from 7 countries came together to set up what is now known as the World Kindness Movement. Now, the objective of the movement, firstly, is to engage in acts of kindness, to impart kindness causes in our various communities, society, and cities, as well as both governmental and non-governmental. Now, if we say, oh, World Kindness Movement should be a movement of kindness and it is not governmental, but we can as well involve the government. Because today we can see that there is a shift across the globe where there are mutual suspicions among members or among government bodies, among countries across the world. And we can see the crisis that have snowballed into war situations across the globe. And this is what, as a movement, we can do to ensure that the world becomes a kinder place, by influencing the government to set up or bring kinder courses or kinder arts into the curriculums on students to teach them about the impacts kindness can make in our schools. And that also, we also give a ripple effect on what the society will be. Because the society is not about the larger portion, but about those who are the leaders of tomorrow. And we need everyone to be part of this cause. Also, kindness, from the inception of World Kindness Movement in 1997, specifically on the 20th of September 1997, after the signing of the declaration by 7 countries to form the World Kindness Movement. The World Kindness Movement, being a global umbrella, have over 30 countries as members of the organizations. And the movement today has expanded to reach other people, particularly through the globally celebrated November 13th World Kindness Day, or otherwise known as International Day of Kindness. And despite that, it is not just celebrated by just the members of the movement, also by larger portion who are not even in the room, who are not even part of the membership of World Kindness Movement. Why? Because somebody, somewhere, initiated that course, that program, to ensure that it becomes an international day for kindness. But notwithstanding that, spreading kindness is not just one-day thing. It's something that must be intentional, and it is something that we must do as a matter of course, that must be part and parcel of every one of us. And also, just as it were in the days of Seijikaya that started the movement in Japan, we can also aspire to ensure that the membership base of the movement exceed 190 countries across the globe. And if that is done, we can also move a step higher, just like the Coca-Cola, that says a bottle of Coke, everyone from every family must take at least a bottle of Coke a day. We can also have that as part of our aspiration to ensure that everyone in the family, at least one person, can also be part of those that will spread kinder causes and kinder initiatives in their community and in their society. And how can we do this? When we talk about spreading kindness, how can we do this? We can sow little seed of kindness by offering to those who are less privileged in the society. We, as an organization in Nigeria, we have done that on several occasions. And we have also assisted those that were indigent in the society, students to pay their school fees, those that couldn't pay for their hospital bills. We also did that for them for free. And those that are the street urchins, we brought them out of the streets. And we also taught them about the need for kindness, and we fed them, because we know that someone that is hungry may be angry, and when one is angry, there is tendency to be unkind. And we did that. And I believe that every one of us can also do likewise. And beyond being kind to one another, being kind to people, we can also be kind to our environment. For instance, we have a lot of organizations that are into that. We have plastic waste, and we can turn that from waste to wealth. And that is also part of kindness. Beyond the economic value that we tend to recycle, we can also encourage people to pick waste that we know may be harmful to others from the streets, and to ensure that the place becomes a kinder place. And that is kindness to environment. And we can also express our acts of kindness to even the animals. Particularly in the Western world, we know that there are protections against poaching, against killing of animals, amongst others. And I know so many of us, we eat chickens. But that notwithstanding, but we must also ensure that we express our acts of kindness to others. And I watched a video some time ago regarding a young boy that fell into where there are gorillas, amongst others. Rather than alter the boy, the people around lowered a basket to where the gorilla was. And they picked up the boy and placed the boy on the basket and helped to lift the basket. And the boy was taken by the parents and was not hurt. So if gorilla and animals can be kind, then why can't we be? And I just want to give a few words of advice. That as a movement, we must, that is on the final note, that as a movement, we must encourage embracing small acts of kindness, believing that they can lead to a critical mass that transforms the world into a better and kinder place. I appreciate you all for listening. Thank you, and remain blessed.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. Okay, thank you. E continuiamo con il nostro speech. Veramente importante quello che il dottor Oche ci ha detto, mi sono segnata una frase veramente importante. Non puoi dare ciò che tu non hai. You can't give if you don't have. So, vous pouvez pas donner si j'ai pas. And this is very important. I think is like the resume of the kindness. Actions are very important. The word kindness, but we have to act to realize this action. Alors, on continue avec notre speech, avec une autre personne très importante dans le mouvement de World Kindness Movement. I would like to come here in the stage, Dr. Tristaka McCrae. Yes. The General Secretary of the World Kindness Movement. Thank you.
That's on? Yeah, it is. So I'm a little bit different, so. All right, everybody. So I speak like there's like 10,000 people in here. So can I get a kindness real loud? Kindness. No, that's not good. Kindness. Kindness. One more time. Kindness. See, that's what we should feel every day when we wake up, that kind of kindness within us. So I'm speaking today on kindness in a colorful world. How many people love colors? That's why I have this on today. Colors. Colorful world. So my name is Dr. Tristaka McCrae. I am the CEO and founder of an organization called Nerds Rule Inc. And I wanted to talk to everyone about colors, how colors are so beautiful when we look at them. And I thought, what can I wear on when I'm talking about is colors. Colors are so beautiful. I want to say thank you to Natalia. Is she in the audience? No, she ain't even in the audience. All right, I see you, girl. Oh, there you go. But I just wanted to thank her so much for this wonderful opportunity to speak to all of you about kindness as a colorful world. And kindness is the beauty that colors our world with love, hope, compassion, in a universe painted with diversity. Isn't that word very strong, diversity? Do you have diversity in your jobs? How many people have diversity? How many people have diversity in their communities? That's what kindness should look like, diversity. If you look around the world, do we have a lot of diversity? Not that much. A lot of women, we're not in certain places that we need to be. So I'm not saying guys shouldn't be a part of us, but women, we really rule the world. We're really good. And my main speech, I'm talking about how beautiful we are as color, people of kindness. Kindness should be diversity, color, love, compassion, and understanding who we are as individuals. For me, I can tell you about diversity. I have worked in so many different companies and organizations, and I wanted to share my experience. So, are you kinder to yourself? Are you kind? I'm learning how to be kinder to myself. When you are going through some journeys, not dark moments, but journeys, you should call them journeys. They're colorful journeys. Sometimes people have dark journeys. Some people have colorful journeys. Well, right now, I have a very colorful journey going on in my life. And I have the great opportunity to share my diversity, my love, and my experiences with the community. And that's why you're here today, to hear everyone about what we are doing with kindness. Why did we start being a kindness ambassador? Some people don't wake up kind. You might wake up with a headache. You might wake up with cramps. I'm a woman. So those are the type of the things that you might have. So being kinder to yourself, kindness in a colorful world. We often think of kindness as a small, quiet act. Holding the door open, giving someone a smile, giving someone a high five. You know, giving someone a high five really makes someone's day. They might not be having a great day, but you can go, you know, it's all right, and give them a high five. That's what makes them feel great about themselves. The one thing I wanted to say in my speech, I didn't want to do my whole speech because I wanted to give more of my kindness champions a more opportunity to talk about what they're doing. I am so blessed to have this opportunity to share just a little bit what I talk about. But I wanted to talk about being a woman of color in the world, showing about kindness. Now, I want to leave everybody with this. Can you raise your hands and say you are kind to yourself? You're kind to yourself when you wake up. You're kind to your family. You're kind to, now see, only 2 people kind to their family. What's going on? But I'm so excited to talk about kindness. You say you're kinder to your mama? Okay, all right. See, she said her mama. I love my mom. This is dedicated to my mom, my aunt. I didn't want to take up too much space because I want all of you to hear from all the amazing speakers that we have here with the General Secretary as me, but we also have people who've came all over the world, from India, from the United Kingdom, and the US. So we're all here spreading kindness, and I just wanted to talk about kindness in a colorful world. Don't just look at people on their outer appearance. That may fool you. Look at the inner. Understand everyone's heartbeat. When you understand everybody's heartbeat, anything can change. You can become family. I consider my kindness family as a tribe. I don't call them my friends, I call them my brothers or my sisters. That's a tribe. If you look in the history of tribes around the world, they all connect and they all share with each other. So find yourself a tribe, find yourself people you can connect with, and find people that will help you get to the journey that you need to with kindness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate, thank you so much. It's true, like words, in this world, we have a lot of colors. We see colors. So, guardiamo colori, siamo fatti di colori diversi. On est tous coloriés, si vous voulez. Donc, oui, c'est vrai, tout à fait. Il faut vraiment partager de la bienveillance. We need to spread and we need to see other people in their interiorly and share kindness with other people too. Thank you so much. And let's go on with another speaker. And in this moment, in questo momento, questa speaker farà un gioco e vi renderà partecipi dell'azione. So I would like to welcome in this stage Nirmala Mehendale, Dr. Nirmala Mehendale. She's gonna do a game, yeah, with you and with us. And the title is The Kindness Vibe. What's in it for you? So, the kindness vibe, cosa ci guadagni? So, thank you. Oh, yeah, thank you, and...
Okay, good afternoon and namaste. And the word namaste is, I bow to the divine in you.
Okay.
And you bow to the divine in me. And so if we start searching for the good, we'll find it. And I am so honored to be here. And Italy, cheers to you. You've hosted it twice, the General Assembly. Most people don't have the courage to host it once, and you've done it twice. So thank you. I would like to do a little bit of activity. It's that time of day where all of us have been listening for long. And so I need 2 volunteers. In the morning, I'd set up the kids from behind. And now I have the big kids. So would 2 people just come up on stage? It's a simple thing. BC, I hear you nodding. And Gordon, okay. Oh, anyone. BC and Stephen, they have no idea. And they are assuming I'll be kind. And so we have 2 of them, and you got to tell me which hand do you normally use. And you? Your left hand? So if you are using your left hand, you will use your right hand now. So you'll use the hand which you normally do not use, and you will use your left hand, right? And so the smallest finger of your left hand and your right hand we'll be monitoring because they volunteered, BC, so you and I will have to monitor this game to see that they don't, break the rules, okay? And a lot of us, I don't know whether you did, but growing up used a blackboard with what is called a chalk, right? The beauty of a chalk is it's fragile. And the more pressure also creates a problem, and the less pressure creates a problem. So I'm going to give them a challenge. They will balance this chalk with their smallest finger. Right now, you can use your other hand to get the setting and the planning and everything. But once the game starts, you will not speak to each other. And you will not hold each other. It's the chalk that would be the connection between your little finger on your left hand and yours. So, Stephen, this is how it goes, right? All your other fingers are closed. This, and Tristika like this. Right? Now you can use it. You can even practice because this is going to be a 2-minute exercise which will be timed. So you can practice, you can walk about. You got to walk about. So you can practice. I might tell you, come down and shake, what's your name, sir? I may say, go to Rosario and shake his hand. I may say, go right behind. So you got to be able to walk without the chalk falling. So you practice, you got time, I'm giving you time, before I set the timer.
Can I run if you want to run?
Yeah, if you, do not, BC will distract you. Do not be distracted by these naughty people in the audience. Okay, you ready for moving? No, I'll make you go. Okay, she was like, she's wondering why she volunteered. Okay, so BC, I want you to stand right behind this coach. You've got to go and shake BC's hand with one of you, okay, in 2 minutes, without talking to each other, without the chalk following down. Okay, can I say start? Yeah, okay, go. Do you guys think they'll make it?
Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
you're sure? You can speak, they can't speak. You can say ooh or boo, whatever you want to. Yeah. You got to move, mister. You got 1 minute.
I cannot see Tristika. Hi.
You got to look. No, you go behind. I increase the target. Yeah. Life is, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, you can do it again. You try again. You'll get it. Stephen, you got to really look where she is and move in that direction. Who's going? Stephen saying you take the lead. Stephen, you can look at Kristika's eyes. It's allowed. Stephen, you got to look at her and watch her. She is saying, you got to make eye contact. No, Stephen, you're not holding. See. Right? Thank you for the courage. Thank you for coming up and demonstrating to us, right? Thank you. So there are 2 things that happen. When someone succeeds, I say, what made us succeed? And if the chalk falls, we talk about what were the challenges on why the goal wasn't achieved, right? So I want all of you to participate very quickly on what is required to have. I've done this thousands of times, right, from school kids to CEOs, right? What do you think is required for them to succeed? What are the qualities? Listen to the woman first. Listen to your partner, right? Be aware of your partner. What else? Yeah, have trust, have compassion, anything else? Collaboration, because it's a teamwork. No one can win this alone, because when you drop, it's lose-lose. And if you win, it's win-win. Anything else that comes to mind? Was there communication in this game? Did I allow you to communicate? But there was a lot of non-verbal communication. Yes, Sona? Yeah, so maybe if they spoke to each other before the planning and say, hey, Stephen, I want to lead and I want you to move this way. They were allowed to talk, remember? I gave them time for planning. But I don't think they used that time to speak to each other and create a strategy. Yeah? So there's body language, there's flexibility, there's adaptability, there's communication, there's teamwork. Sometimes somebody is 6 foot and someone is 5 foot, and so they got to really move up and kind of balance this chalk. So the question is, I gave both of them a common goal. And if the common goal is we would be kind to each other, then maybe I would be more flexible, adaptable, be ready to communicate. And these are skills that can go a long way. So it's important that my first message is kindness is about balance. And it's a balance between me and the other. Right? So very often I say treat others the way I want to be treated. But you also need to treat others the way they want to be treated. And that's the big challenge with kindness. How do we look? It's called the golden rule and the platinum rule. Very often, you come to India, someone might eat with their hands, you are used to eating with a fork. Would you adapt for that half an hour? Just because the culture is you're not making other people uncomfortable. So the whole thing is somebody removes their sandals in my part of the world, would you remove your shoes? Right? So there are little things that make kindness culturally relevant. I have another example. If you come to my part of the world, you might think people don't say sorry. Because sorry and thank you are not really used as often. Thank you is like, if I'm close to you, I don't have to thank you. You're my buddy, you're my friend. And, so it can be very rude for another culture. And in sorry, you say, you just dashed me on the road and you didn't say sorry. But if you really notice an Indian, when he is pushed in a very, very busy metro, does this. So he just does this. And this is, I'm sorry. But it may not be picked up by another culture. And so kindness also involves some amount of cultural sensitivity. I have another exercise because, you had people who were volunteering Gordon, need to come up for this one in BC. I let both of you down, so you're back up before somebody else beats you to it. And this involves a little balloon. So I just want to do 2-3 activities to leave you with 2-3 messages. The first was balance is the key to sustainability. And kindness is about walking that tightrope balance. It's always about your needs and my needs. And I have balloons. Yeah? You can hold this. So Gordon, you've got 1 minute to use the pin on her balloon. Just a minute. Do not, just quickly do it. Use the pin on the balloon. Go for it. Just go for it. Go for it. No, don't do that in the first place. So give them the message. Yeah. Right? Okay. Now, so the whole thing is, the moment you start thinking, you start adding value. And kindness is about adding value. So I'm going to give them another opportunity. Gordon, you get your opportunity.
Oh.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you want to do, you got to add value to the balloon. How would you add value? And think, how would you add value? So you wouldn't, you can hang it on the flag of the World Kindness Movement. You can go and hang it. So the same pin, a big round of applause to both of them. So the same pin, you can either burst somebody up or you can use the same pin to add value, right? So very often negative thinking is autopilot. And to be kind requires us to pause and to think and to add value. So that is the message of the balloon that possibly we will remember. Thank you so much, Gordon. Thank you, BC. Well, and the last is a little film. Sir, can I have the film on screen? Gaetano? So this film is made by the students, very young students. It's not a professional film, but I like the way they did the film, and we would watch what the message of that film is. It's called Why Did We Forget? It's less than a minute. It doesn't have words, and it involves kids. So since we have time, I'd like to say that in India, we are reimagining India to Kindia. And that's the line given by the youth, India to Kindia. And we are looking at kindness through the lens of volunteering. So we let young people volunteer so that they are, looking at themselves and others and see how it feels to volunteer. So on 15 November this year, we'd have the Kindness Jam, which is a number of celebrities coming aboard. And the winners to this jam will be all young people who have volunteered 10, 20, 30 hours. So the real special invitees would be young people who volunteered so that they get a free ticket to the jam. It's a cashless show. It is stressful, believe me, but I've always wanted to prove that you can do things without cash. And it's an example where you have everyone's come forward. Someone's bringing sandwiches, someone's given the hall, celebrities are flying down to perform, the kids have done service, and you have, the energy is something to be believed. I'll have the video out after the jam for all of you to see. Gaetano? He's saying to be patient. So there are three things that I basically wanted to talk about. One is balance. The United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, we had a lot of discussion on the lack of compassionate leaders in the world. And the lack of compassionate leaders has created the crisis that we are in. And if kindness doesn't come out, the UN goals will not be possible by 2030. And so it is all the more important that the leadership, whether it's schools, families, individuals, marriages, companies, unless kindness becomes that core, zero hunger and zero, all that sounds very good, but we would need leaders who can walk the talk. And even if that doesn't play out, it's fine, we'll watch it some other time. But I'd like to thank you for your attention. And I want to, really happy to be here, and I hope that together, I always say we are like fireflies, and we are small little fireflies doing our own little thing, but for kindness and the light to come, we have to come together and have a great light. And then we'll reach the tipping point that the world needs so badly, and we would be able to shine the light on not any of us, but it is kindness which would be the queen, and shine the light on kindness. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much, Dr. Nirmala. Yes. Sì, nel frattempo ci sono stati dei problemi tecnici per appunto guardare il video che la dottoressa Nirmala, grazie, thank you, vuole farci vedere. Donc on va attendre un peu afin de comprendre s'il y a la possibilité de voir la vidéo de notre docteur et en fait, de partager avec elle cette expérience. Aspetto intanto. I would like to share this kindness vibe with Dr. Nirmala too. It's very important. It seems like, yes, words and speech, they are so important, but actions, no? We see, like, if we do something, we can understand more the function of the kindness. Penso che siamo pronti, sì? Se dalla regia mi dicono, mi fanno cenno? Ok, ancora no, va bene. Nel frattempo che lanciano il video, vediamo un po' se riusciamo. Volevo pure appunto condividere con voi quanto sia importante il ruolo della gentilezza, ma anche del fatto che, ecco, io ci tengo molto a parlare di questo, di quanto essere gentili anche nella comunicazione, nell'uso delle parole. In quanto persone noi abbiamo il dovere di utilizzare le giuste parole per poter non ferire l'altro. Noi parliamo qui di colori. We talked about colors, about cultures. Siamo tutti diversi e tutti uguali allo stesso momento, ma se vogliamo comunicare in maniera gentile bisogna anche conoscere l'altro e rispettare la propria cultura, il proprio pensiero, il proprio modo di vivere, anche utilizzando le giuste parole. Words are a great power of communication. So I try to translate a little bit in Italian and in English. So as a human being, it's very important to share information, to share kindness, to spread kindness, but also using the right word. So communicate with other people, it's important, but using the right word and respect culture. Our words, our culture, languages is very important. I think it's a form and a color, one of the colors of communication. So normally people don't understand that using the right word can change all the words. So yeah, please, if you want to share and to spare kindness, be kind using the right words. Thank you. Est-ce qu'on peut partir ou pas? I think that there is a technical problem. So let's on. Let's continue. And after, probably we're gonna see this video, okay? So now it's your turn. Katrina, Lee. Oh, okay, hopeful. So, but the sound non si sente. Si vede ma non si sente. It's mute, è muto. Se puoi schiacciare l'audio. Ok. Vado avanti. Okay, no problem. So let's going on. The turn of the next talk is, it will be, And now it's the turn of Katrina Lee. Yeah, Katrina, Dr. Katrina. I'm so happy to know, and I'm very happy to know your talk about intersection of kindness and policy. So I try to translate in Italian, connessioni e regole di gentilezza. So thank you so much. This is your stage. Yeah, you have two options.
Testing,
so.
testing, it's
Okay.
working.
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. If you didn't hear, my name is Katrina Lee. I am a communications consultant bringing you greetings from the beautiful city of Alexandria, Virginia, in the United States. It is an honor to stand before you today to speak on a topic that resonates deeply with each of us, kindness. In a world that often seems to be in a rush, where the pace of life is faster than ever, we can easily forget the simple yet profound impact of a kind word, a compassionate gesture, or a moment of genuine connection. Today, I want to discuss not only the importance of kindness, but also how we can advocate for it in our communities and in our policies. Because after all, kindness is not just a feel-good concept. It's a powerful force that has the potential to transform individuals, relationships, and entire communities. Kindness is like a pebble thrown into a pond. It creates ripples that extend far beyond the initial act. A small gesture, such as a smile or a compliment, can brighten someone's day. But it doesn't stop there. That person, now uplifted, is more likely to pass on that positive energy to others, creating a chain reaction that can spread far and wide. In our communities, these ripples can lead to stronger bonds, greater trust, and a more supportive environment with everyone feeling valued. This is the essence of what it means to advocate for kindness. It's about nurturing these ripples and ensuring that they become a defining characteristic of our communities. At its core, kindness is about recognizing our shared humanity. It's about understanding that despite our differences, we all have the same fundamental needs: to be seen, to be heard, and to be treated with dignity. When we lead with kindness, we acknowledge this shared humanity and create spaces where people feel safe and valued. Research has shown that kindness has tangible benefits. It reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and even boosts the immune system. But beyond the physical benefits, kindness fosters a sense of belonging. It reminds us that we are not alone, that we are part of a community that cares. For kindness to truly take root in our communities, it must be championed by leaders at all levels. Whether you are a leader in your workplace, your neighborhood, or your family, you have the power to set the tone. Leaders who prioritize kindness create environments where collaboration, creativity, and resilience can thrive. But leadership isn't just about holding a title. Each of us has the capacity to lead by example. By showing kindness in our everyday interactions, we set a standard for others to follow. This might mean offering a listening ear to a colleague who is struggling, or simply being patient in moments of frustration. So, how can we actively advocate for kindness in our communities? Here are a few practical steps. 1, start with yourself. Start with yourself. Kindness begins within. Practice self-compassion and please be gentle with yourself, especially in times of stress or failure. Because when you are kind to yourself, it becomes so much easier to extend that kindness to others. 2, model kindness. As I mentioned earlier, we all have the power to lead by example, whether it's through your words, actions, or decisions. Demonstrate kindness in your daily life. Others will notice, and it can inspire them to do the same. 3, create opportunities for connection. In today's digital age, it's easy to feel disconnected. Organize or participate in community events that bring people together. This could be as simple as a neighborhood potluck, a book club, or a volunteer project. These gatherings provide opportunities to build relationships and strengthen the sense of community. 4, recognize and celebrate acts of kindness. Publicly acknowledging acts of kindness encourages others to follow suit, whether it's through a community newsletter, social media, or simply word of mouth. Take time to highlight those who go out of their way to help others. And 5, my favorite, advocate for kind policies. Kindness should also be reflected in the policies and practices of our institutions. Advocate for policies that promote inclusivity, equity, and support for those in need. What does this look like? Well, in the United States of America, leaders who lead with kindness advocated for policies like the Americans with Disabilities Act. The ADA are powerful examples of how legal frameworks can foster kindness and inclusivity in our society. By ensuring that individuals with disabilities have equal access to public spaces, employment opportunity, and essential services, the ADA embodies the principle of fairness. It promotes the understanding that everyone, regardless of ability, should be treated with dignity and respect. And making accommodations and removing barriers, the ADA creates a more compassionate environment and where differences are embraced rather than marginalized. Another example is the Fair Housing Act, which prohibits discrimination in the housing market based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, or disability. By promoting equal access to housing, this law fosters inclusivity and encourages diversity within our communities. It ensures that people from all backgrounds can live in neighborhoods of their choosing, creating a sense of belonging and unity, where kindness and understanding are at the heart of building stronger, more inclusive communities. So whether it's at your workplace, local government, or schools, push, push, push for environments that prioritize the well-being of all individuals. In closing, I want to remind you that the legacy we leave behind is not measured by our accomplishments, but by the impact we have on others. A legacy of kindness is one that will endure long after we're gone. It's a legacy that will continue to shape our communities, creating a world where everyone is treated with the respect and compassion they deserve. So let us commit to being advocates for kindness, not just in words, but in actions. Let us create ripples of kindness that spread throughout our communities, making them stronger, more compassionate, and more united. Because in the end, it is kindness that will help us build the world we all want to live in. Thank you. Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Connection Everything is about connection. Our human beings are different. We are different, but at the same time, we have to connect each other. So thank you so much. Grazie mille. Ok, allora abbiamo risolto il problema tecnico, quindi pregherei la regia di mandare il video di Nirmala. Thank you. Thank you so much. The video is so powerful. Even it's very short, but very powerful. Thank you so much. So, yeah, now it's the time of yes, I would like to come here on stage, Cristina Milani, the ex-General Secretary of World Kindness of Movement, and I'm so sorry, President. I'm so sorry,
No.
l'ex-presidente del World Kindness Movement, and your talk is about kindness as a lifestyle, so la gentilezza come uno stile di vita. Quindi lascio il talk a Cristina Milani. Grazie.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I just try, because I have to read, because I was supposed to do in Italian, which is much best for me. Okay, so I'm so happy to be in this stage today, because I want to bring you in my trip, the trip that started for me 15 years ago. And it was a trip to adopt kindness as a lifestyle. And it was a journey that I didn't really know where it would take me, but one that profoundly changed me. This first question I asked myself was, what is kindness? I didn't know at all. I suppose that kindness was love. I suppose that kindness was to be gentle in terms of good morning, good evening, thank you, I love you. But then I discovered that kindness was something else. Kindness is not just about good manners, about polite expression. Kindness is something more. What do you think? It's something more, or is just this? Just this. I spent 13 years studying and observing around me, reading books about the origin of kindness, meeting people and talking with them, meet people from Japan and try to understand what is kindness for them, meeting people from Russia. I told with Nirmala about this strange thing that they don't say sorry. I told with Giorgio to understand what is kindness in Italy, which seems to be something really strong related to freedom. So after many years trying to understand what is really kindness and why it's so important, I understood that kindness is an energy that comes from within, a bright impulse driven by empathy and supported by sincere, assertive, and non-violent communication. Kindness is not just something we do. Kindness is something that we are. And this is very important because if you think about before Professor Rizzolatti, that maybe here in Italy is very, very well known, he discovered the neuroni specchio. Maybe someone can translate in English because I don't know. So before, in the 60 years, we were sure that the human being was profoundly egoist. No empathy, no altruism. It was Professor Rizzolatti that discovered empathy, how it works, and then there were a professor from Israel that he discovered that there is a gene, come si dice gene? Gene, allora è giusto. A gene for altruism. So the human being is profoundly involved in kindness. It's not egoist. So I was thinking about, but if we want to be kind and we live in this strange world, what we have to do? Because I was sure, I was firmly convinced that kindness, or to be kind, is like how to love. I cannot love someone if I don't love me at first. I cannot be kind with someone if I'm not kind with me at first. So, after thinking about this time we are living, an hectic world where technology pushes up to move ever faster, and in this whirlwind, kindness risks becoming a luxury, a challenging exercise. That's the reason why I believe that kindness is not weakness. Kindness is very powerful because it's very difficult in nowadays to be kind. So kind people, they really have a superpower. I think we will see later with Randall. So kindness today is a delicate balance of our emotional state. So if we want really to adapt kindness, we have to manage our emotional state at first. We have to have the strength to pause in the here and now. Meditation is really, really important. We have to be patient. We have to turn off judgment and turn on understanding. So my journey was going on, and after 13 years, I wrote this book, which is a present for you today, in which I try to tell all the things I did, starting from me, having extreme care of my body, of my soul, and then trying to construct relation based on positivity, based on non-violence, based on listening to the others, and non-talking over when someone is talking. So very difficult things. Having care of the other animals, the other species, this world to which we are hosted, it's not our world. So I try, and I saw the result. I saw that my life was really better. I saw that my sleep were so like an angel. I saw that the problem that at first I found them big, difficult, now I can solve with patience. Because even though we are kind, it doesn't mean that we do not have problems. We have problems, but the way we afford them is different. It's much more different. So in this book, I have encapsulated 7 steps, 7 simple directions to follow to help us transform kindness into a way of life, a path that will allow us to be true ambassadors of kindness. I strongly believe being an ambassador of kindness, because when you work on your body, when you work on your soul, and when you work on relationship with the other species and the world, you understand one important thing. You understand that behind every rudeness, behind every rude people, discourtesy, there is a person in distress, insecure, disconnected, closed off, and disheartened. So we can do really a true difference when we know this, because our mission becomes clear. Through the kindness, we can help them regain confidence, reconnect, open up, regain trust, and finally, help them to become kind. And all this with the experience of kindness that we can show them. Nothing else. Easy to say. So, in sursum corda, since we are in Italy, lift up our hearts. As the Latins used to say, let us make kindness a beacon, a mission, a gift. Because in the end, kindness is not just for others. It's a gift we give to ourselves at first, and then to the world. Thank you. Thank you so much. I give you the copy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christina. So, yeah, we are talking about kindness, but every single person can understand and live kindness in different way. Quindi la gentilezza si vive in maniera diversa in ognuno di noi, attraverso una nostra educazione, attraverso una cultura, attraverso il modo di pensare. L'importante è che si viva la gentilezza, proprio perché siamo tutti diversi, è importante diffondere la diversità di questa gentilezza. On vit dans un monde où on est beaucoup différents entre nous. En fait, on parle toujours de bienveillance aujourd'hui. Mais l'important, c'est de vraiment partager de la bienveillance en utilisant des différents, en fait, instruments qui caractérisent, en fait, notre identité culturelle, une manière de penser différente. Donc, c'est très important de partager et de continuer à partager la bienveillance parce que dans un monde tellement différent et tellement rapide, in this world that every single moment is very fast, no? We live our lives very fast. We have to stay, to think a little bit, and to use the right way to live our lives. Ok, continuiamo con il nostro talk. Questa volta invito un altro speaker direttamente dagli Stati Uniti. I would like to invite to come here on the stage who will talk about the split screen, Mr. Seth Davis. Thank you. Vorrei dire anche benvenuto. Parlerai.
I need to move around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need to move around. I'm the restless type.
Gli schermi
Please
divisivi.
continue. You want to say any more nice things about me?
No, just translating your title, so in Italian.
Grazie.
Gli schermi divisivi. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Give a round of applause. Keeping us going. Good to see everybody. Buongiorno. Every American knows 3 words in Italian. Buongiorno, sì, grazie, that's it. Pizza, is that Italian? My name is Seth Davis. I'm a journalist, author, broadcaster from Los Angeles, California, United States. I cover sports, basketball. You guys know basketball, right? Kobe was Italian. I've done this for 30 years. Very lucky to do the kind of work that I do. So what in the world am I doing in Palermo talking to you all about, of all things, kindness. Quite a story. The story technically begins with Adam and Eve, but I'll give you the shorter version, okay? So several years ago, I was at a meeting of CBS Sports. We cover college basketball, the NCAA tournament, March Madness, the Final Four. And there was someone from the marketing division who was explaining how he was going to use the NCAA tournament to advertise the entertainment shows and sitcoms. And he said something that stuck with me. He said, "We in marketing love it when there is only one word in the title of a show. That way, it looks really big on the billboard." That's a powerful concept. Think about that. One word, one idea, one thought. And it got me to thinking, if I was only going to put one word on my own personal billboard and show it to the world, what word would I want? My answer was kindness. I wanted to communicate this word to the most important people in my life, my wife, and especially my 3 sons. So I would inject kindness and the concept of kindness into our conversations. I developed a really sweet ritual with my youngest son, who at the time was in the 1st grade. I would take him to school every day, take him by the hand, lead him to his classroom, give him a kiss on the lips, and tell him, "Be kind," and send him along his way. Well, my son, as children selfishly do, has grown up. He's 14 now. I don't take him to school. God forbid I kiss him on the lips. Dad! But I still talk to my family about kindness, and I've realized it makes me feel good to talk to them about kindness. As a member of the media, as you might imagine, I'm very active on social media. I have over 300,000 followers on Twitter. So a few years ago, I got the idea that every morning I would start my social media experience by tweeting out 3 simple words. Please be kind. Next morning, please be kind. The next morning, please be kind. Every morning, day after day, year after year. Now, as I'm sure many of you know, Twitter and social media can be a most unkind place. People say pretty mean things. Some of it is directed at me personally, and I get it, it's a part of it, but I didn't think anyone would really notice my little messages. I was doing it mostly for me. I was talking to myself, and I realized the person that I wanted to be kind to the most was me. No big deal, but something really interesting happened. Because I work a lot on television, I tend to get recognized, especially if I'm in a basketball arena or in a store or somewhere, and over time, people were coming up to me, strangers, people I'd never met before, not to ask a basketball question, but to say thanks for that morning message. And I realized that even in social media, this ocean, this morass of hostility and negativity and vitriol, there's not only a place for kindness, there is a deep craving for it. And I felt gratified that in my own small way, I was able to advance that cause. So I kind of like thinking of myself as what I like to call a kindness evangelist, and looked for various forms, various audiences where I could pass along this small micro dose of positivity. Please be kind. That led to some fascinating conversations with amazing people, several of which are in this room. One thing led to another, and here I am in Palermo talking to all of you. So social media dominates a lot of our impression of the world, and again, I live in this world, so I kind of see our world as split screens. There's screen 1, which is this social media world. It's a most unkind place. And we look at this place and we think that it's proportional to what's really happening. We get discouraged, we get down. The world is so mean, it's so divided and so polarized. Think about the math. Did you know that 1/3 of toxic content on social media is generated by 3% of users? Nearly 3/4 of messages on social media that are considered toxic come from 1% of all people on social media. Here's my favorite one. 80% of the lies and misinformation and intentional disinformation that floods our timelines. 80% of that content comes from 0.1% of all accounts across all of social media. 0.1%. But it's amplified by people who design these algorithms to make us engaged and enraged. And all too often, we fall for it. See, to me, social media is like a funhouse mirror, only without the fun. You guys have all stood in front of a funhouse mirror, right? You look ridiculous. Your neck is gone. Your legs are huge. Your ears are the size of New Jersey. When you stand in front of a funhouse mirror, do you bug out? What happened to my neck? What happened to my legs? Look at my ears. How can I walk around like this? You don't think that because you understand the mirror is curved. It's a distortion, just like that first screen. Yet we think that first screen is the true reflection of who we are and the world we have. I'm here to tell you that is not true. Now look, I'm not naive. I understand there's a lot of ugliness in the real world on that second screen, but there's a lot of beauty too, right? That second screen, you turn away from your cable news, your social media, and then you go to the grocery store and someone says, "Oh, I'm sorry, were you in front of me? You can go ahead." Or you go to Starbucks and a stranger holds the door for you. Walk right in. You go outside, you walk your dogs, you have a pleasant chat with your fellow dog owners. The dogs sniff each other's private parts. Everybody walks away happy. That's the real world that I see. And again, I know that too many of our fellow humans on this planet are living in fear and violence and hopelessness and despair, and that there is real meanness in the real world. But it's not proportional. It's kind of like if you took a cup of salt and you pour it into a small glass of water, and then you drink the water, it's going to taste pretty bitter, very salty. If you take that same salt and pour it into a 10-gallon tank, same amount of salt, it's still in the water, but you don't taste it as much. It's dissolved, it's diluted. That water is kindness. And it is up to all of us, my fellow kindness evangelists, to fill that tank one tiny drop at a time. One of the great things I do as a sports writer is I get to know and chronicle and write about some of the greatest coaches who are walking the planet, some of the greatest leaders we have ever seen. And I can tell you, after talking and interviewing and writing about all of these great leaders, the number one thing that all great leaders have in common is kindness. We think about coaches as being tough and holding their players accountable, and they scream and they cuss, and it's all true. But if those players understand that that coach is coming from a place of genuine kindness, if they really and truly care about the players they are coaching, those players will play for them. But if they're polite and mannerly, but don't truly have their players' best interests at heart, don't have that element of kindness, those players won't follow. I also extend this to business, and I can tell you as a kindness evangelist, I want to bring this message to the business world because it's already there. Too often we are fed this ridiculous notion that the only way to get ahead in business as a business leader is to be cutthroat and mean and slash and burn and scrap and claw to get ahead, and this ridiculous zero-sum game that I don't win unless somebody else loses. I'm here to tell you that is not true. And it has been proven time and time again. It might work in the short term. It might work in some cases. But over time, most of the time, it's kindness that pays. And when I say pays, I mean that literally. I talk about, I want to monetize kindness. And people think, oh, that's so crass. Why would you talk about monetizing kindness? Well, what if we could convince a couple billion people around the world that the nicer they are to other people, the more money they'll make? It happens to be true. And look, I'm all about service and sacrifice and serving our fellow men and women, and that is what I like to do. But I am here to tell you that the main reason that I practice kindness is because I feel better. And this, of course, as we all know, is medically and scientifically proven to be true. When we are kind to somebody else, our body produces actual chemicals, specifically serotonin, that makes us feel happy and peaceful and even euphoric. So yeah, I practice kindness as an act of selfishness, or as I like to call it gracefully, enlightened self-interest. It's okay to be self-interested. We don't have to choose between self-interest and kindness. That's the point. They work together. And if we can show people how they can individually benefit from being more kind, our message will spread. So look, I never expected to be here, but as long as I'm here, I'd like to keep riding this wave. If anyone out there has an audience that you think would benefit from hearing this message, I'd like to speak to them. If any of you or anyone you know looking to write articles or books about kindness, I'd like to help them find the words. That's what I do. If you have a vision to activate your version of kindness, I'd like to help connect you with people who can maybe help. And if you're just feeling a little down, come on over and let's talk about it. My arms are always open and my hugs are free. So I want to thank you all for having me here today, and I want to invite you and in fact challenge you to take this message out into the world, to hold that billboard up high, to fill that water tank one drop at a time, and take this spirit out into the world and say it over and over again. Please be kind. Please be kind. Please be kind. Grazie. Pizza margherita.
Come si chiama? Oh, thank you so much. Yes, pizza margherita is so tasty. I can say this too. So, yeah, thank you so much. Spreading kindness, parlare di gentilezza è assolutamente importante e lo stiamo facendo oggi, continuiamo con gli speaker internazionali. Ma facciamo una pausa perché ci sono, non una pausa dagli speakers, perché ci sono 2 opere d'arte che verranno consegnate a 2 speaker oggi diversi, 2 artisti che faccio venire appunto qui sul palco. Grazie. They are 2 artists and they created just right now, because this one is fresh, so pay attention, okay? These are 2 pieces, very important pieces. They created right now, today, regarding and touched by these good vibes here, and they would like to share and to give like these 2 presents of 2 of you speakers, international speakers. So, these sono dei dipinti estemporanei, questo è un dipinto estemporaneo, quindi attenzione, è fresco, non toccatelo perché sono proprio frutto di energia e di riflessioni, esatto, creati proprio durante questo speech, durante questa assemblea oggi. Il primo dipinto si chiama Abbraccio e gentilezza ed è stato creato da Ignazio Pensovecchio. So this has the title Kindness and Embracing. So this is a present for Tristica. Please, but pay attention, it's fresh, don't touch it. Okay? So this is for you. Please. And the second one si chiama Il dono di un fiore. So, if I can translate it, it's like present of flower. And it Posso darti il microfono così puoi parlare?
Dicevo, scusate, non parlo bene l'inglese. Dicevo che a noi donne piace sempre comunque ricevere dei fiori.
For
voi,
sure.
Non dimenticatelo mai voi uomini. Okay.
So she said that the women like to receive flowers. So for this reason, I would like to spread kindness, but flowers too. And this gift is dedicated to Stephen Oke. Welcome. So, yeah, come, please. to receive these two original pieces of arts, for sure. And this for Mr. OK. Okay. E questo è un certificato che rilasciamo e che appunto Natalia Re, presidente del MIG, dona a Aurelia Cane, quindi direttore artistico. Grazie. Yeah. Yes, yes. They said me all the time, the artists, pay attention, because all this is still fresh, so pay attention. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Grazie a voi, grazie. Complimenti, grazie. Ok, continuiamo con gli speaker. Il prossimo speaker che parlerà appunto, dedicherà e ci parlerà appunto del suo modo di pensare e attraverso le sue riflessioni riguardo la gentilezza è il signor Randall McNeely. So I would like to see you, a superhero of kindness. È il supereroe della gentilezza. Thank you.
Is this microphone working? Is it working?
This is
one?
better.
Good. Okay.
So let me present you. So Randall McNeely, he will talk about love for a connected and happy life. Quindi amore per una vita più connessa e felice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I wonder if you have stopped to think about what a privilege it is for us to be here. What do you see when you look at the people who are sitting around you? I want to tell you what I see when I look out at you. I see a bunch of beautiful, amazing people who care deeply about making a positive difference for good in this world. I see people who are willing to step into, walk, and even run in the shoes of kindness superheroes. People determined to amplify and expand love in the world using the most powerful means available, simple acts of kindness, which are love's delivery agents, love in action. Our world yearns for, and needs kindness superheroes now, today, this very hour. And that is why we're here. That's why we're gathered here today. There are no coincidences. We, all of us, everyone in this room, and others in virtual rooms around the globe that are going to see this conference, we are here by design for such a time as this. At a time when loneliness, isolation, disconnection, division are growing in the world and spreading. You and I and thousands of other kindness advocates who are not able to be physically here, who are reading about, seeing, and hearing about those challenges and feeling the pain and the empathy for the people passing through them, we are here to answer the call. We are here to gather resources, understanding, insights, wisdom, to help us ensure that this assembly is not just another one-and-done experience. We're here to find solutions, to take action, to go forth and take action, and to inspire other people to do the same. We're here to help to take action that will help to dispel loneliness and find acceptance. Help us to disperse isolation and find friendship. Help us to dismantle division and disconnection and restore the unity and love that truly transcend differences. In other words, we're here to take actions that will help you and I and those that we serve to build happy and connected lives. How do we do that? I want you to imagine that I'm holding a paintbrush and a small can of primer in my hand. And think about how they might relate to kindness as I tell you the following story. When Zach Demopoulos, who was 13 years old, went to work one night in his father's restaurant, Zach's Hamburgers, he had no idea that he was about to have an experience that would change his life forever. Zach Jr. was working in the kitchen when his father, Zach Sr., saw one of his employees, a lady who was a mother of several children, stuffing hamburgers into her purse. Zach Jr. stood there in stunned silence, waiting, wondering what his father was going to do and say. "I'm sorry," Zach Sr. said. "I'm sorry, I really am, that I have not been approachable enough or nice enough that you could feel like you'd come to me and ask me if you need something. I promise if you'll stay, I'll do better at that." Zach Jr. was totally surprised. Before his father had said anything, he was sitting there thinking something like, "Oh man, what the heck, what's Dad going to do? Is he going to call the police? Is he going to fire this lady? Is he going to kick her out the door?" Instead, his father extended mercy. He extended the hand of friendship, kindness, and love. In doing that, he invited her to figuratively stay at the Zach's hamburger table. And in doing so, he taught Zach the lesson of a lifetime. In Zach Jr.'s own words, he said, "My father taught me to always assume the best in people, to always give people the benefit of the doubt. That has served me well through all my various careers, and it still impacts me today." My friends, it's been over 45 years since that experience. That is the power of kindness. Now take a look at that. Let's return back to the paintbrush. I'm holding it here, and I've got this little can of primer. I know it's invisible, but you guys can see it, right? See it in your mind's eye. A little can of paint primer. What is paint primer for? What's the purpose? It's meant to help new wood receive a smooth coat of paint. You put it on new wood, it's there to help it receive a smooth coat of paint. It's also used to cover up spots and blemishes on old wood so that you can repaint it. Kindness is like primer. With every act of kindness that we give, we paint on someone's heart and we prepare it to feel and receive love. It can also be used to cover up pain and sorrow. Every time we paint with kindness on someone's heart, we can help their heart to feel valued, appreciated, seen, loved, to help them find relief, healing, and hope. That is exactly what Zach Demopoulos Sr. did for his employee. When he extended mercy toward his employee, in that moment, that instant, 3 lives were changed because love was etched on their hearts. But the impact of that simple act did not stop there. That was only the beginning. The ripple effects from that kind of action continue to go out. Remember, I said it was 45 years later And Zach still remembers that like it was yesterday, and he applied that lesson learned throughout his career. He talks about how he served as an HR representative for 13 years, and during that time, he stood up for and ensured that employees that supervisors and leaders wanted to fire, he made sure that their stories were heard. And because he took the time to do that, he was able to help avoid many mistakes that would have been terrible tragedies. He even was able to, at a later time in his career, he was able to use his father's own words, "I'm sorry." He was able to use his own exact words with another man and help that man who had done something illegal to change his life and become a better person. Hold on one second, we've got a challenge here. Abracadabra. All right. Zach was, let's see here. I'm going to say Zach was, even used his father's own words, and then he said, the employee mentioned in that story. I'm going to share with you, the employee mentioned in that story became Zach Sr.'s most loyal employee. She stayed with him for another 15 years. And when Zach Sr. passed away, who was on the front row at the funeral? Who was sitting there? That woman was there with all of her children. That is the power of kindness. We don't begin to know how many additional hearts were touched or have been primed and received love because of that simple act of kindness. Think of all the people that Zach Jr. impacted by paying his lesson forward. Think of all the people that were impacted because of that have now impacted others who continue to pay it forward. Think of all the people impacted by that employee over the years. I can guarantee you that both she and her children told that story over and over, and that they did, and they still do, continue to pay that kindness forward, to paint on hearts with kindness, helping them to receive and keep love there. Think now, just for a minute, stop and pause and think how you have been impacted just by hearing that sweet little story of love, of caring, of tenderness, of mercy. Zach saw and heard the effects of his father's kindness that night. More importantly, he felt the impact right here. He felt the impact right here. He felt his father's love for that employee. He felt it right here. Because of what he saw, heard, and felt, he knew then, and Zach continues to know now, that kindness truly matters, because kindness delivers the love that creates enduring connection. And that connection is to the key, the absolute key to happiness, here, now, and forever. My friends, I've been on the receiving of that end of that love so many times, I've lost count. Because of what I've seen, heard, read about, and ultimately felt because of the kindness that has been shown to me. I know, I don't just believe, I know that kindness matters. I know that kindness matters because it delivers the love that reaches hearts, changes minds, and changes lives. My life has been changed because of kindness. And every one of you here are here because your lives have been changed because of kindness. If you hadn't, you would not be here. You and I, every one of us, we can make the kindness difference every day. We can do that by doing the following. 5 simple steps. First, get up in the morning, take a minute and look in the mirror and say, I'm going to be a kindness giver. That puts kindness top of mind. Second, take just a few minutes to think about who you're going to be with, where you're going to be, and what you're going to be doing that day, and plan potential opportunities to be kind in those situations. Potential, because as we all know, nothing ever seems to go quite as planned, right? Third, take the time to put up what I call your kindness antennas and actively look for the random opportunities to be kind that always present themselves. Like Seth was saying, you may be at Starbucks and hold the door for somebody. You may have a chance to help somebody take their groceries in. Whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be anything huge. Just look for those random opportunities that present themselves and act on as many of them as reasonably possible. Not just one. If one is all you can do, that's great. But if you can do more, do more. Do what you can reasonably possibly do. Fourth, invite and encourage other people to do the same. I loved what Seth said about writing out every day, please be kind. Simple action, easy thing, made a difference. Invite and encourage others to do the same. That's exactly what his message is doing. Inviting others to please be kind. Fifth, and finally, at the end of the day, take just a few minutes and write down your kindness experiences in a journal. Why? Because on those rainy days when we get down and feel discouraged, we can go back and reread those experiences. And guess what? You can do mental time travel. Your mind can think about those things, and your body will produce the same feelings that you had when they happened the first time. That is the power of kindness, my friends. That is the power of kindness. That simple 5-step formula, which I call the kindness giver's formula, so easy to learn. With it, you and I can step into, walk and run in the shoes of kindness superheroes. We can go from place to place with our figurative paintbrush, painting happiness and love on people's hearts, creating a beautiful tapestry of happiness wherever we go. My friends, I'm a religious man. I'm a Christian. I happen to be a Christian. Some of you may be of other faiths, or you may claim no religious affiliation at all. We all represent multiple nationalities here. There's multiple skin colors here. We are different genders. We've all had different life experiences. Somebody could look at us and think, wow, they've got a lot of differences. Yet, regardless of those differences, we recognize our humanity as members of the human race. We are here united around the cause of kindness because we know it delivers love, the greatest unifying force in the universe. The world needs that love now more than ever. Great is the work that we have undertaken. Some may call it daunting. It may seem daunting, but shall we not go on in so great a cause? Shall we not go on with courage and determination to make a difference, to be the difference? The world needs millions of kindness experiences every day. You and I can do all in our power to help create those experiences and invite and inspire other people to do the same. It's those experiences that we remember that cause the ripple effects, that create the impact that lasts for decades, just like the experience that Zach Demopoulos had. The time to stand up and take bold, loving action is now. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nelly. Your talk touched me a lot. is so touching, so powerful, yes. And I would like to share just how and what I'm thinking right now. Well, in this world, we have the freedom, but not all the time, but we have the freedom to express our identity, to express and to present our identity in a community of human beings. Often, it's like that. It's sad, but it's the reality. We talked about religion. We talked about identity, culture. But, for example, I had a lot of problems with express my identity. I have a hijab before. I had scarf. I'm Muslim. For me, God is very important in my life. It's like a pillar. All my life is for respecting my rules in the best way to live this life, okay? But when I start working, I was not considered like very powerful, very power woman, like now. The curriculum is the same study, same university, same degrees, everything is the same. But when I start to take off my scarf, everything changed. It's sad, that is the reality. But I continued spreading kindness, and I continued smile, because it's not about how and what I wear, no? It's not about appearance, but I'm still the same person. Yeah, we have to work a lot, how communicate and how spread kindness, even we find problems, issues in our world. So yes, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I just want to share with you this part of my life. So sad, but yeah, let's going on, okay? So, questa volta invece vorrei dedicare dare il tempo di accogliere un altro talk qui. Yes, welcome on this stage, Elias Gurguris. Thank you. So, how to make self-care your superpower? Come prendersi cura del tuo superpotere? Ok, thank you.
Grazie, Dottore Sofia, for sharing your story. And grazie mille, Natalia e Gaetano, per tutta l'organizzazione. Arrivederci, Palermo. This is the end of my talk in Italian. That's it. So, I'm a positive psychologist, author, speaker, and TV host, and a whole bunch of other accolades. But my greatest thing, actually, aside from being a husband to this beautiful lady right here, and a father to my kids, and a grandpa, is I'm a recent ambassador of kindness for my home country of Greece. Just recently, so. For Kindness Worldwide. Thank you, Kevin. And it's kind of interesting that my whole life has come full circle. I was born in Athens, Greece, a very long time ago, as you can see by the gray hair. And before we moved to America, my grandfather, Elia, whose name I carry and I honor, when I was 5 years old, gave me the greatest gift that has led directly to me becoming a kindness ambassador. And my grandfather died when I was 6. So it's not like I have a lot of memories of my grandfather, just, you know, but I do remember this one thing. As a 5-year-old little boy, now imagine this. He had me on his lap. I was looking up at my grandpa like a little kid, like, yes, Grandpa. And he says to me, my boy, do you want to know a secret? And I'm like, yes, Grandpa. He goes, do you want to be the richest man in the world? And by this point, my ears got this big. I'm like, yes, Grandpa, I want to be the richest man in the world. And he said this to me. He says, do something good for somebody else every day, and you will be the richest man in the world. Now, when I was a little kid, I thought like, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, like gold and silver, and I'd be richness, you know. But that's not what my grandfather said. What he meant was, do something good for somebody else every day. Be kind to other people, and notice how your life changes. So kindness for me, and then of course he died when I was 6, so I don't have a lot of memories. So kindness for me has been a second nature. I don't have to think about it. It's just something that you do. Most of the times, if not all of the time, kindness is free. It's a smile, it's a hug, it's a compliment. It's listening without feeling like you need to talk back, and honoring somebody and being present, you know, when somebody's struggling. But my background, my first half of my career, I was a clinical psychologist in private practice. I've worked with thousands of people who have struggled. And in my experience, most people, wonderful human beings, by the way, struggle mightily with practicing self-care. Okay? Now, I wore this shirt on purpose. We are all captains of our own ship. Captains, right here. How do we navigate our lives every single day? Every single day we have a choice between hate or love, anger or peace, violence and destruction over healing and kindness. And this choice we must make every single day. We live in a world that's so divided. We live in a world we're all so stressed, and this is post-pandemic. I mean, we had a lot of stress during the pandemic. The stress has continued unabated. We have wars all around us, and rumors for more wars. We have financial concerns. We have domestic violence, violence against women, violence against children, all kinds of abuse. And those are kind of on the global level. We have a loneliness epidemic. So those are the multitude of challenges. I'm not even counting the personal challenge that we face in our own lives. For example, going through a breakup of a relationship or a divorce, or being unemployed or underemployed, or struggling financially to take care of our families and so on, or having health issues, or having people that we love and we care about, you know, die and pass on. Those are additional. So as human beings, we can handle, we're very resilient as human beings. We can handle 1 or 2 crises or 2 or 3 challenges at a time, but it's very hard to handle 6, 7, 8, or 10 that are happening simultaneously. At some point, we become overwhelmed. And when people are facing challenges, the natural reaction is not to do more self-care, but to do less. The first thing that goes out the window is us taking care of ourselves, because we're focusing on, I have this challenge and I got to fix it. But in reality, if we want to be successful in life, when we do face challenges, we have to double down on our self-care. And what do I mean by that? Physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. The physical part is what I think social media and a lot of us talk about, and advertisements on television and so on. Eat well, a healthy diet. Obviously, we're in Italy, so we're eating the best food in the world, clearly. Moderate exercise. None of us have to become athletes like the people that Seth interviews and the NBA basketball players. These are exceptional human beings. But for us, it's movement. Move every day. Walk every day. Get a good night's sleep. Yeah, interesting enough, what happened during the pandemic, our sleep patterns globally got totally interrupted. So even if people slept for 5 or 6 or 7 hours a day, it wasn't restful sleep. And unfortunately, that hasn't returned. So people all over the world continue to struggle with getting a good, restorative, restive sleep every night. And all that impacts us on a physical level. So that's kind of like the physical part. What about emotionally? In my experience, the inner critic that lives inside of each human being is not only alive and well, but the inner critic is thriving. We make a mistake and the inner critic comes down. Fortunately, I have an aversion to the inner critic. You can ask my wife. I just don't believe in inner critics. And I practice self-forgiveness, which is the ultimate act of self-compassion. People really don't know how to forgive themselves. In a lot of ways, they don't forgive other people as a result of that either. Self-forgiveness is truly the ultimate act of self-compassion. And you know, people say, well, how come you don't have nothing on your list? Honestly, it's because I don't take myself too seriously. Life is too short to take yourself too seriously. You make a mistake, or is there a mistake? Because this is a good point. Are there any true mistakes? We are all graduates from the University of Adversity. Every single human being right here. Gratitude, of course, is the easiest way to happiness. When we're in a grateful state, we cannot physiologically be depressed at the same time. Because when you're in a grateful state, guess what happens? The best drug dealer in the world is the human brain. And we're in a state of gratitude, guess what happens? The human brain releases all those beautiful endorphins. You talked about serotonin, we got dopamine, we got endorphins, we got all kinds of beautiful chemicals that get released, right? It's easy to be grateful when things are going well. But let's go back to the University of Adversity. Is it possible to be grateful for the life that we're living in the midst of challenges? And I'm going to go back to one of my all-time heroes, somebody that I respect and I just read about, is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela said something so profound and yet so simple. He said, in life, either you win or you learn. The winning part is easy. You know, I'm a sports fan like you. I know what winning looks like, a former athlete and so on. But as long as we're learning something, that means we're making no mistakes. And as a matter of fact, we've all accomplished, we wouldn't be here if we hadn't accomplished some things in our lives already, in this life. But isn't it true that the greatest lessons we have ever learned have not come from our successes? Our greatest lessons have always come from what at the time appeared to be a mistake, a human frailty, a weakness, a setback, a rejection. And one of my most recent lessons that I've learned is that rejection is God's protection. I want you to think about that. See, ever since I heard that statement, it has really resonated with me. And I've looked back at times when something didn't work out, a door was closed, somebody turned you down, you felt rejected, you got fired from a job, whatever it may be, a rejection. When you look back now and you say, you know what, I wouldn't be the person I am today had that so-called terrible thing hadn't happened back then. Because I learned from it, because it opened up some other doors much bigger, and because I do believe that we all have a destiny, and that God has the destiny for each one of us. And I'm really glad last night, Natalia, you sent a message out, do you want to have a spiritual experience? We all traveled yesterday. Some of us missed flights, right? Some of us didn't. But we were all tired. We finally make it to Palermo, and we're exhausted. And Natalia says, if you want to have a spiritual experience, meet me at the hotel at 10 o'clock, and I'm going to show you a spiritual experience. And the Storia, the Santa Rosalia, we went to this beautiful place. We're taking this bus. It's midnight. It's dark. And we're going up and up and up and up. And we're thinking, oh, my gosh, we're going to die up here. And we go to this beautiful spiritual place. Because taking care of yourself physically and emotionally and mentally is great, but never neglect the spiritual aspect of it. And we walked into this amazing place, this sanctuary, where Santa Rosalia, 1,000 years ago, was a kindness advocate. And she didn't have to be, by the way, because from listening to the story, her father was a nobleman. And he wanted to marry her to somebody else who was rich so they can extend, their kingdom and their influence. And instead, she chose to marry herself to God and to Jesus Christ. That story really touched my heart because she was a kindness advocate, a kindness ambassador for Palermo over 1,000 years ago. And that's why everybody honors her to this day here. I will never forget that story. When I leave Palermo, I'm going to talk about that story wherever I go because that story touched my heart. And I started as I was yesterday. I'm really glad that I came. I was debating whether I should just go to sleep and wake up so be fresh for this talk or really experience something in its view because you said it's a spiritual experience. Don't miss it. And I really appreciate it, you inviting us. Thank you. And you had a very passionate Don Natale. Yeah, Fiorentino. Natale, yeah. Boy, he was great. At midnight, he's so friendly and talking so loud and so excited. So you know that he embraces, he's walking the talk, as we say. In life, what really matters is not what we know. What matters is what do we do with what we know, right? It's in the action. We can all talk about kindness, and then, like Randy said, this is we came here, we had some fun, we met some nice people, and then we go back to business as usual. If we want to change our lives and those around, we all have a sphere of influence. Some of us have a sphere of influence over 300,000 people. We all have a sphere of influence. What are we doing with that sphere of influence? Seth says, please be kind. That's what he does every single day. Of all the things he's accomplished, that's what he's known for now. So, move to action. Life is short. Life is fragile. Life could end tomorrow, and someday it is going to end for all of us. What will our legacy be? At least for me personally, at this stage in my life, I don't need to accomplish anything else. It's all about legacy. What do I leave behind for my kids and for my grandkids? Say, you know what, Grandpa Elia, just like I honor my grandpa after over 50 years, I honor him now. I want my grandkids to say the same thing about me. Like Grandpa Elia did something good in this world, to make this world a better place. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for your hospitality, Natalia, Gaetano, and everybody else. Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. So, let's continue with our talks. Now is the stage is yours, Mr. Dr. Gordon Rusler. Yes. So you will talk about Human Nature 2.0, this program that spread kindness to. Thank you so much.
Can you
This?
down?
Ah, okay. Just I.
Just need to put this.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
The translators have my speech, but I do not, so I have to get it off the computer. Oh, yes, thank you. Did everyone get a copy of the kindness quotes? And if you need more of them, please let me know. I still have some. And there are some out in the lobby as well. Okay. Before I start, I want to tell you how glad I am to be here. And I have a hope. I have a hope coming out of this, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. My name is Gordon Ressler. I am from the United States. I would like to describe an initiative to you, just brand new, that seeks to apply scientific discoveries to changing human behavior, to make kindness more sustainable. This is brand new. And I hope that some of you, there's the hope, are interested in participating in it. Why did we all choose to become advocates for kindness? It is something that so obviously improves our world. It needs no definition, it is visible, it is impactful, and it supports so many other benefits like wellness and peace. All of us want to see kindness become more global, more robust, and more sustainable. Imagine this. If we are successful, this could be the future. Imagine that we're in the year 2200. Someone asks, how would you describe the human race? And you say, oh, kindness. They're always kind. They always choose the kindest approach when dealing with others. Wouldn't that be amazing? And how long do we think it would actually take, starting now, to create such a global and permanent change to human behavior? What is it that makes this future so difficult to attain? There is some inherent programming of the human psyche. It has been put there by our genes and by evolution. The fight or flight reflex, the fight or flight reflex, keeps people from considering kinder options when they're confronted with aggressive behavior. The tribalist instinct. I'll be kind to people who are kind to me. It replaces kindness when dealing with people outside our own groups. We see people being influenced by demagogues, dictators, and crime bosses, so they perform cruel and inhuman acts. We must find a way to overcome all this programming. That's not my gathering. It's okay. We have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge the programming. Then we can take action to improve human behavior globally. The scientist E.O. Wilson has said, human nature can be laid open as an object of research. Biology can be put to the service of education, and our self-conception can be enriched. So science has recently been learning a lot about the human mind. We now know that observing an act of kindness, not just doing one, observing an act of kindness releases oxytocin in the brain, and this causes positive feelings. Neuroplasticity means that we can rewrite some of the old genetic and evolutionary programming. The entertainment industry has also started including kindness in its content. There's a funny series in the US called Ted Lasso. It's about an American football coach who is hired by a team in the UK to coach real football, which we in America call soccer. The show is hilarious, but it is really about dealing kindly with the players and the owners and everybody else. Tens of millions of people have viewed this show, and its first season it was nominated for 20 Emmys. It shows that kindness can be effective in entertainment. So I have a name for this idea to put science and technology to work in the service of sustainable kindness. I call it Human Nature 2.0. So when you get a software update for your computer, it's something like Windows 13.3 or iOS 17.2. In this case, we're trying to update the software of human behavior. We need to use the modern means of reaching people, like entertainment and electronic games, along with the traditional means like education and religion, to put the science to work. The goal is to make kindness more sustainable and robust part of human behavior everywhere. So it's complicated. Many activities would be needed to bring this transformation about. Scientific research would inform the ways of creating change. Developers could turn these ideas into content that could be inserted into various activities of human energy. There would need to be ambassadors who connect to different fields, as many of you already are: corporations, entertainment, education, and analysts would have to try and assess how effective these lines of effort are. At this stage, for me, there are many more questions than answers. Organization will be very important, so the project continues for the many generations that I believe that success will require. Finding people who want to participate is the first step, and that is why I am here. Huh? Too early, too early. Any method that we think of to try to change human behavior will need to change itself. Over the years and decades, people and cultures will also change. So different cultures are going to need different ways of approaching them in order to create change. There will be a continuing process of creativity, implementation, distribution, and assessment. Changing, this slide really affected Tristika the first time she saw it. Changing human nature to make people kinder can have effects at many levels, from the interpersonal to the global. Kinder behavior can reduce abuse, human exploitation, crime, and international strife. It can even help to protect our earth and climate. We must be kinder to the earth as well as to each other. As I said, we will need ambassadors to the many areas of human activity that can be influencers of kindness. These ambassadors must be respected in those fields. They will bring kindness content out into the world, and they will bring back challenges and ideas that stimulate future kindness content and make them more effective. So right now, I want to take the very first steps. Finding the kindred spirits, developing the first kindness content, creating an organization, and making connections to the centers of human activity. All of these are very important. So interested people, you and people you know, can join this first meeting, January 16th, 2025. Please send in, there are 3 times. I'm going to have a 3rd time when you send the email. 1 for Asia, 1 for the US, 1 for Europe. Send the email, there's the email address. And that, I'll have a link that will take you to the video conference. This is step 0, right here. Well, it's kind of the same time as Europe, yes? Same time zone? That's, sorry, but, and Australia is same time zone as Asia too, so more or less. So let me, thank you for your interest, thank you for listening. I will close with a quote from C.S. Lewis: "A consistent practice of virtue by the human race, even for 10 years, would fill the earth from pole to pole with peace, plenty, health, merriment, and heart's ease. And nothing else will." Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Gordon Roosevelt, Dr. Gordon. So, yes, how can transform power and kindness? This is a great question. So we tried during this event to create replies about this, to create information and sharing thoughts. And now I would like to invite on stage Mr. Kevin Smith, the transformative power of kindness. So, il signor Kevin Smith, che ci parlerà appunto della trasformazione del potere in gentilezza. Grazie.
Thank you so much. I tell you, here in Palermo, kindness is off the charts. And in this theater, kindness and love is through the roof. So how about little audience participation? Why don't we all stand up for kindness? All right, everyone's standing up for kindness. That's great to see. Now, how many of you believe that kindness is hip, fashionable, trendy, like Elia's shirt, and cool? Everyone agree? All right, so how about on three? We all say together, "It's cool to be kind." Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's cool to be kind. Wonderful. How many of you believe that if you're kind, you're a winner? Okay, Elia, Randy, you're going to have to help me on this one. So how about we all say on three, "With kindness, everybody wins." 1, 2, 3. With kindness, everybody wins. We all know that there is good and kindness all around us. We just need to open our eyes to see it. So we need to see the good. But it's not enough to just see the good. It's important to be the good too, and go the extra mile above and beyond in being it. So the last phrase, I'm going to have you repeat. See the good, be the good, go the extra mile. Everyone with me? All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. See the good, be the good, go the extra mile. All right, thank you all so much. Okay, you can sit down and relax now. Well, there are no words that can ever do justice to just how meaningful it is to be in the company of such wonderful friends and trailblazers here in Palermo at the 11th General Assembly of the World Kindness Movement. Nor are there any words to describe the meaningful, unexpected, life-changing journey it has been that has me humbly standing before you now. If there are any words to describe my emotions at this moment, they are grateful and blessed. I'm just an ordinary guy who was touched by the actions of an ordinary woman who did an extraordinary thing. She was kind. My story is proof that no act of kindness is too small to make a difference and change a life, and that anyone can make a lasting impact and even change the world through kind actions. I was a good person before Good Friday morning 2023. I'm a much better person today because of one simple act of kindness. At 9:55 a.m. on that eventful morning, I realized I had lost my wallet. I found my purpose at precisely 9:57 a.m. when a young Good Samaritan woman magically appeared like an angel out of heaven and returned it. Kindness Worldwide is the nonprofit I was inspired to create as a means of paying this act of kindness forward. I don't consider it my nonprofit, but ours. It's a unique ecosystem model intended to showcase and amplify the individual and collective body of work of you and so many. Its vision? To create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. I'm convinced this vision can be achieved, and that we'll achieve it together, because I believe in you, and I believe in us. All I wish to do was say thank you to this young woman in a more meaningful way, which evolved into something so much more. It became about making a meaningful difference. Countless coincidences few would believe, including a fascinating connection with a York County SPCA and a comment, pets are like social glue that bond people and communities together, became catalysts for what became an adventure of a lifetime that continues to this day. Kindness is a superpower that can transform and save lives. We each have this power if we choose to exercise it. So what is kindness? I think of it as love in action. What are its characteristics? I identified 8 of them: gratitude, patience, forgiveness, empathy and compassion, respect, joy, generosity, and service. It's no coincidence that gratitude is first among them. What kind are you? You might relate to some characteristics more than others, and that's okay. Kindness may be one of a kind, but it comes in all kinds. Kindness is the heartbeat of the world. It's our lifeblood and the life vest that keeps us afloat. It's the universal language everyone understands. It transcends borders, cultures, distances, languages, and time, and is the bridge of common ground that unites us all. I believe kindness is humanity's greatest asset. It's the one thing universally agreed that our world needs more of. So how do we create the culture of kindness we all long for? We encourage it, we recognize it, we reward it, and we celebrate it. Kindness shouldn't be an afterthought, but always top of mind and front and center. We have weeks, even months, to celebrate broadly many things. Why not the same for kindness? So I call on and welcome every elected official, mayor, commissioner, supervisor, chancellor, governor, prime minister, and president of every community, state, province, region, and country in the world to do it. Let's elevate kindness to the global shared value that represents all of humanity. I also urge the United Nations to show its leadership and support. Despite our differences, can't every member nation at least agree on the need for humanity to stand on a shared platform that connects us? Kindness is that platform. So vote. It's one unanimous vote our world expects. There's no reason not to, and every reason we must. Why is this so important? Why am I so passionate? Why are we all here? Do we truly believe in the theme of this assembly, kindness will change the world? Or are they just words? For the record, I not only believe, I know. Kindness not only will change the world, it already has. I want to read for you words from the most touching email I've ever received. It's from a woman who watched the video on the Kindness Worldwide website homepage. It reads as follows, quote, "Dear Kevin, it has taken me longer than expected to send this email because it was difficult to express the impact the video and your organization had on me. Please bear with me as I try to explain the best I can. There was something about my latest situation that pushed me to the brink. I had a moment where I consciously thought, what a waste I have created from this precious gift of a life. I became a little too focused on the disaster I had created in the past and am trying to resolve, and less on what I have left to give. I was in a dark place. When I received the video link, I knew it was something that would excite and inspire me, but I underestimated the impact it would have. It reminded me that I still have time to make a difference. I had to process that for a while because I have not been seeing my purpose. God, the universe, or whatever you believe in, definitely works in ways that we need. I do not think it was an accident that I received that link on the day I probably needed it most. I think you saved me more than you can realize. I hope you will excuse this email for being emotional. I had to share these thoughts with you. More than anything, I wanted to thank you." End quote. That's the power of kindness. And there's those words again, thank you. One of the essential characteristics of kindness we can never express enough, gratitude. If all that ever happened from this one act of kindness is that, it would be enough. But so much more has happened and is happening because of it. Its ripple effects endure. Watch and see them for yourself.
Can a random act of kindness spawn a worldwide movement? Yes, it can. When a wallet was returned just moments after it was lost, a purpose was found. This one act of kindness inspired the formation of the nonprofit Kindness Worldwide, with a vision to inspire a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. Our signature initiative, Kindness Week Worldwide, launched in York, Pennsylvania, saw the entire community mobilized to celebrate kindness in many forms. Kindness Week featured initiatives and playbook programs, including blood drives, kindness cards, K-12 and college students embracing kindness, acts of service and charity, as well as an innovative means of community policing, kindness citations. York Police Commissioner Michael Muldrow personally took to the streets in search of York citizens helping each other through kindness.
It's time to kick off Kindness Week. We're going to be writing citations, but we're going to be writing citations for the good stuff that people are saying around the community. Everything that you do for this community is important, it's impactful, and it's necessary, and I just want you to know that you're appreciated. So you had to be the first person to be issued a kindness citation.
Appreciated, for real.
This community-minded policing has become a case study for others to consider and expand. If something so magical can happen in York, Pennsylvania, the same and other inspirations can happen anywhere and everywhere. The movement of Kindness Week is now spreading to communities throughout the world. As more of this story unfolds, we invite you to write its future chapters with us. Our Screen Scenes initiative, featuring the Kindness Factor, will showcase these many stories of kindness. Let's include your community among them. Kindness is the heartbeat of the world. Together, with your support, we can make all its hearts beat as one.
I have to admit, I get emotional every time I see that replay. It was the most meaningful week of my life to have this idea, this vision and see it unfold and see your community embrace it. And now seeing other communities embrace it too, to bring people and communities together. This one act of kindness has inspired students and school children to be the good by showing kindness in endearing ways. Police departments are seeing the good in our communities by issuing kindness citations. People are donating blood to save lives as a symbolic means of going the extra mile and paying it forward. So much more. Some may say it was merely fate and circumstances that brought two strangers, Brooke Dubs and me, together on Good Friday morning 2023. I know otherwise. Kindness is universal and is a common denominator among all religions. The Dalai Lama said, quote, "This is my simple religion. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness," end quote. One need not look far for multiple passages of kindness amongst all the world's religious texts. The Quran, the Torah, the Bible, and others all reference love and kindness and a divine power that stresses their importance and expects we act accordingly. In my own faith as a Catholic Christian, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 states, "Love is kind." As Abu Salman reported, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him, was kind-hearted and merciful. Sahih al-Bukhari, an authenticated collection of sayings and teachings of the Holy Prophet of Islam, states, quote, "There is nothing more beneficial for the heart than treating people well and wanting good for them. If you do this, you will gain the love and affection of strangers. You will maintain the companionship and love of friends, and your kindness will extinguish the fire of hatred raging in the breast of your enemy," end quote. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 in the Christian Bible says, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." I believe we are each born for a purpose. There is a time and a reason for every purpose to be fulfilled. Our time and our season is here, and it is now. As beautiful as my story is, it was never mine, but ours from the beginning. Brooke Dubs wrote the introduction. I was inspired to write the foreword, pay it forward, so to speak. But the pen is now ours to write the chapters of this beautiful story together in the future. And I can't wait to see the beautiful chapters we write. One kind act, followed by another, one person, and one community at a time. That's how we change the world, and that's the vision of kindness worldwide. So let's strive to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people, in each and every moment, in each and every interaction, in each and every day. If we do, our world will be forever changed. As we do, be mindful and grateful. Let's use the power we possess to be the change we wish to see in the world. Together, let's change the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. It's so touching for me. Thank you. Alors, je parle un po' français parce que j'ai perdu un peu le rythme e parlerò in italiano anche. Dunque, vraiment, aujourd'hui, c'est pour moi très important. C'est vraiment un moment plein d'énergie, plein de solidarité, plein de good vibes, no, in English. So, pour moi, c'est tout ça, écouter différentes manières d'exprimer la gentillesse. Ça me fait vraiment plaisir et enrichir jour par jour, moment par moment, seconde par seconde. Donc, je suis vraiment contente et je vous dis merci, merci, merci d'avoir partagé avec moi votre manière de penser et votre manière de vivre. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much for sharing with me your kindness. So I'm so touched by this. Thank you so much. Grazie mille. Continuiamo con l'ultimo speech. Is the last talk. They arrives from United Kingdom and United States. Please welcome Alan Williams and Jenny Hayes. They will talk about kindness, the key to sustainable wellness. La gentilezza, la chiave per il benessere sostenibile. Thank you so much.
Buon pomeriggio. Did I say that right? Buon pomeriggio. Good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. Good afternoon. My name is Jenny Haas, and I bring you warm greetings from the beautiful state of Utah in the U.S. And like you, one of my core values, most important to me, is kindness. And being a catalyst for kindness has become a passion project for me. Through my organization, Kindness from the Heart, my mission is to share a compelling vision for creating a legacy of kindness. I believe that setting an intention of kindness will bring a profound sense of abundance, joy, gratitude, and well-being, and a sense of wellness into our own lives and into our communities and into the world. At this moment, we all know this, humanity needs much more kindness to self, kindness to others, and kindness to the planet. Kindness is, in fact, key to sustainable wellness. That's not Randy, but you saw from Randy about kindness being a superpower. And here's why. Kindness produces health benefits for both body and mind. It stimulates serotonin, which helps heal our wounds. It also promotes happiness, and not just in the giver or the receiver, but also in those who simply witness it. It boosts oxytocin, which promotes connection, trust, and generosity, while boosting our immune systems. People who practice kindness regularly have less of the stress hormone cortisol and tend to age more slowly. And I really appreciated that recently when I had a very big birthday, so it's a great benefit. Kindness is universal. It's a universal language, capable of changing hearts and minds, something sometimes when nothing else will. And all it requires is intention, a little action, and love. I believe that even a seemingly small act of kindness can unleash an energy that ripples in ways unimagined, touching countless lives and transcending generations. Two very special people up here. I'm blessed to have parents who created a legacy of kindness. Though my dad passed away 15 years ago, people still remember his humor, honesty, kindness, and generosity, and the amazing tomatoes and cantaloupe that he would grow each year simply to give away. My mom, now 95, is extraordinary. I had an inspiration on Christmas Day about how to celebrate her upcoming 91st birthday, and that was to invite people to do an act of kindness in her honor. I compiled the stories into a book titled 91 Acts of Kindness, inspired by Jean Hendrickson. And the kind notes and acts people shared were simply beautiful. And I'll share a few examples with you. As you listen to each story, I invite you to imagine the ripples that these kind of actions may have set in motion. Let's start in Chicago. On a cold, wet, and windy day, a homeless man asked Carolyn if she would buy him a cup of hot cocoa. She said yes and asked if he wanted anything else. The man asked for a toasted chocolate chip bagel too. They walked inside the restaurant and placed the order. Carolyn said, while we waited, I learned his name was Scotty, and that Scotty likes telling jokes, and that he sleeps in a nearby garage. He was also curious, asking me about where I'd been and where I was going. Scotty was grateful, in fact delighted, because he requested and received an extra shot of chocolate in his hot cocoa. Or perhaps it was the extra shot of kindness. Carolyn said, I received a full heart. By pausing and saying yes, I connected gently, human being to human being, heart to heart, with a stranger. Gail is an elderly neighbor. Her nephew's wife had been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4. She was in her early 30s and had a 15-month-old little boy. Her mother had recently passed away, and this young woman had started treatment and was very weak. Gail said, to honor Jean, I decided to do whatever I can do to help this young woman. I offered her rides, babysitting, dinners, whatever else she needs. It's going to be a long road, and I plan to be on that road with her. Valerie, who happens to be my best friend as well, she's a middle school teacher, and she purchased books for 10 of her students. Each of these 13 or 14-year-old students had been struggling with their reading, but they've been working hard and they accomplished their goals. Valerie inscribed each book, sharing what prompted the gift and her desire for the young reader to appreciate the importance of literacy. She said, as I look back on my own career and as an educator, I am keenly aware of the seed that was planted in my heart years ago by the many visits Jenny and I took to Jean's classroom. That was the beginning for me, and now here I am, 50 years later, following in her footsteps. For someone with such tiny feet, she certainly has huge shoes to fill. Carrie said, in honor of Jean's 91st birthday, I've chosen to do acts of kindness for older, single women in my neighborhood. I love to cook and usually make more food than my family will eat. I've taken plates of dinner to 10 women, and it has been so delightful. It's hard for them to cook for one, but easy for me to make up a plate of dinner for them. This will be an act of kindness I will continue for a long time. It brings so much joy for the giver and the receiver. Craig is our family dentist. A woman from his church was struggling financially. Craig learned the woman had some broken teeth that were causing her pain, and she couldn't afford to have them fixed. Craig said he thought about Jean, and he knew that this would be a wonderful act of kindness for her birthday. He fixed the woman's teeth, and she was deeply grateful. Craig said, I feel grateful that I have a skill that can help people in need. And finally, Mark from California. He has a blog called Mark's Minute, and it's his ministry, his way of helping to bring people to God. To amplify kindness and to honor Jean on her birthday, here's a little of what Mark posted on that very day. All of us should be striving to pass on and leave a legacy of committed, continuous, and Christ-like kindness. Just recently, someone in our global tribe told me about a woman in Utah, Jean Hendrickson, who personifies God kindness, is what he called it, day in and day out. She just celebrated her 91st birthday and continues to look for ways to express kindness every single day. Jean handed down that gift and legacy to her daughter, Jenny, who is committed to ensuring it lives on. That's the sort of kindness legacy we should all seek. And at the time, Mark's Minute blog had over 500,000 subscribers in 63 countries. So just think about that on my mom's birthday, how many people were turning their hearts and minds, even just for a moment, to thinking about kindness and creating a legacy of kindness. So here is that book that I created and gave to my mom. And it is absolutely filled with all kinds of wonderful acts. So when I gave it to my mom, she was very, very emotional, and she was delighted, very touched. And it was an honor for me to give that to her. She savored every word as she read it and every action, and then wrote a letter to each of the contributors. Here's what she said. Wow, I'm overwhelmed by this wonderful book. Your acts of kindness have inspired me to do more. So on Saturday, I gave a loaf of homemade bread to a neighbor who was serving a meal to some friends. The name of a wonderfully upbeat book was passed on too. We all need positive words and thoughts along the way. This Friday, several friends will sit at my table to share my homemade bread and soup. We will chat about our families, our hopes and dreams, and our ups and downs. Hopefully, each of us will leave the table with happy, positive thoughts and feelings. Other kind acts are working their way into my heart and mind. I intend to do an act of kindness for each of your kind actions and dedicate them to those who participated in the stream of Jenny's. We just need a listening ear, eyes to discern the needs of others, a voice to give comfort, hands to do acts of kindness, an open heart, and a strong will to do good. Thank you, my friends. God bless you all. The birthday girl, Jean. So that was in February of 2020, early in the pandemic. Jean made 100 masks for healthcare providers when masks were very hard to come by. And she made countless loaves of bread, wonderful bread, best ever. She's famous for it, for friends and family and even strangers. After 133 acts of kindness, we stopped counting, but her kindnesses and the kindnesses done in her honor will continue to ripple in ways we'll never know. So I thank you all for your attention. I would like to invite Alan Williams, he is from the beautiful country of England, to continue our exploration of how kindness is key to sustained well-being.
Hi guys, on the last stretch now. So we just beg your concentration for the last 5-7 minutes. Thank you very much. My name is Alan Williams, I'm from the UK, and there is an important point here to make for the reason that we chose to do this together, and that is to make the point that you can create more power with somebody else rather than when you're on your own. Small point, but a really important one, especially as we move forward with the World Kindness Movement. So Jenny, what was great about your introduction was the science base, and we've heard from Gordon and others about how science is a really important foundation of kindness. And we mustn't forget that, because without it, we're talking about nothing much really, and the science underpinning is a really important part of our message. The other thing is that Jenny's stories and the other stories that we've heard today represent such a variety of acts of kindness. And I don't know whether you will have picked this up, but think back on some of those stories. Some of them were spontaneous. Others were more planned. Some were one-off acts. Others continued over time. Some were quite low-key and not many people knew about them. Others were more widely visible. They also had varying degrees of impact, both initially and on an ongoing basis. And we heard about the ripple effect, and we've heard that word a number of times today. So listening to these stories took me back to the beginning of the year, and Tristika, Secretary General of the World Kindness Movement, sent out an email saying, hey, I'd love you guys to send me an email which tells, a video, not an email, a video, which tells me what you think about the concept of kindness. And Tristika said, Alan, are you up for that? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I thought, right, I've got to make this video. and really started to think about kindness in a way that I hadn't thought about it before. And I think this is one of the issues about kindness. It's a very easy word to use and then walk on without considering what it means. So little did I realize when Tristika sent that request and I accepted it, that it would result in me being here today in this historic setting. And I think, as Randy said, so many famous people have been on this stage. It's like quite amazing to think. To announce the official launch of what I think and other people have said is groundbreaking thinking, designed to elevate kindness from a simple act to a transformative force for sustained well-being. And Palermo will be the birthplace of this revolutionary concept from today onwards. And more than that, I'm delighted to announce that the Italian kindness movement, led by Natalia Ray, is the first global partner of this pioneering thinking. So what is it? Let me introduce you to kindnetics. So it's a play on the word kinetics, which is all to do with energy and motion in physics. So kindnetics is an invented word to describe the study and practice of acts of kindness and how they generate positive social energy. And what that does is it creates a dynamic and self-sustaining cycle of goodwill and positivity, not only in individuals, but in communities as well. And the concept combines an exploration of the component parts of acts of kindness, so breaking it down into granular detail, and more general principles with the effects of energy creation, emphasizing, in fact, how kindness is the key to sustained societal well-being. Now, kindness isn't just a feeling or an action. It is energy in motion. And when we intentionally create opportunities for kindness, we start a chain reaction, or that ripple effect, that touches lives far beyond our immediate reach, and sometimes far beyond our wildest dreams. The field of kindnetics encourages us to study and unleash this incredible force. Now, I have to say, it doesn't pretend to say, this is it. More so, it's seeking to inspire people to be curious and conduct research and learn more so that we get closer to the truth over time. Now, the kindnetics approach is supported by the kindness equation. This is a formula which allows assessment of any act of kindness by offering a forensic examination of the constituent components and their interconnectedness. The kindness equation is also used to assess the numeric value of these different parts and to use this data to create a graphic which is called a kindness crystal. The kindness crystal is a symbolic representation of how each act of kindness is unique, beautiful, and beyond comparison. And finally, the kindness equation highlights the ripple effect that kindness creates, and it also introduces the concept of the splash. So you know when you drop a pebble into a pond, yes, the ripples go to the outside, but you do get a splash as well. And this represents the reciprocal benefit for the kindness giver. And we've heard today about kindness being selfish. So this is the person that gets the splash, and for their surrounding environment. And crucially, the formula recognizes that small, seemingly simple acts of kindness, like, let's think of an example, returning a wallet. Where could that possibly go? And how it can create far-reaching effects, often greater than the initial effort involved. So the kindness equation states that the potential outcome of an act of kindness with its components of readiness, expression, and impact can result in kindness to the power of infinity. Imagine that, to the power of infinity. A kindness equation development program has been designed to assist in the exploration, understanding, and practice of kindness in organizations. So this blends rigorous scientific research underpinnings with profound emotional insights to revolutionize workplace dynamics. The ambition is to equip a team of expert facilitators and consultants globally to deliver these kindness equation programs to client organizations who see the organizational benefits of greater kindness at work. And these will include easier to attract people, higher engagement at work, better collaboration, better productivity, length of stay, loyalty, same thing, advocacy. And the impact will be global. Kindnetics, the Kindnetics equation, the Kindness Crystal, and the Kindness Equation Development Program are all about unleashing the true potential of kindness as the key to sustained well-being. And here, the World Kindness Movement General Assembly, what better setting for the debut of these transformative ideas? Here, in the historic and vibrant city of Palermo, this international event brings together leaders, advocates, and innovators committed to embedding kindness into every aspect of society. So thank you so much for the chance to be standing here talking about this today. Now, Jenny, you've already told us about the book for your mum's birthday and some of the beautiful acts of kindness which happened, but I know that the ripple effect continued. So, could you share a little more about what happened, including some numbers, please?
So as you know, there were 133 acts of kindness done in my mom's honor for her 91st birthday. And she was so moved by the gift, she decided to do 133 acts of kindness in return. So, later that same year, I was invited to speak at KindFest USA, and one of the attendees, who's also a dear friend, Jim, was someone who was so inspired, he committed to doing 133 acts of kindness as well. So if you do the math, here you go, Alan, here's your math. That's 400 acts of kindness from one birthday gift. And the ripples continue. Others have been inspired to create similar gifts and in ways to honor their special people in their own lives. And I'm happy to share with anyone that would like to learn any more about that. And as I've made clear, I love gifts that inspire kindness. And I'm excited to announce that we've teamed up with our good friend and partner in kind, Brad Aronson, to gift you with a copy of his amazing, wonderful book, Humankind, Changing the World One Small Act at a Time. It is the book that I wish I would have written had I would have written had I written a book. It's beautiful, it's uplifting. Deepak Chopra says, an elegant, wise book of love in action. And Forbes says the most uplifting and life-affirming book in years. So it is beautiful, filled with all kinds of small actions that have rippled into big actions, and it's very actionable with suggestions. And so I'm so appreciative we're both appreciative of Brad, a friend to many of us here, for his kindness and generosity all the way from Pennsylvania. So it's hard for me to see everyone here, but for the speakers, I have books for you at the Hotel Jolie. So if you are not a speaker, would you raise your hand? Yes, everyone, yes, please, translators, if you are not a speaker today, would you raise your hand? And in the back as well? And at the bar, too? So maybe, Tano, you can help me explain? Yes. So if you will please come up afterwards, and I have a copy of Brad's book for you. It is in English. It is beautiful. You will love it.
So, I don't think you need me to tell you that what we're doing now is taking that concept that people readily talk about called the ripple effect and demonstrating it to you for real. And what an amazing story it is. And it gets even better because you can be part of this ongoing ripple from here. And we've got a flyer that we're going to give to you, which we'd like you to make a conscious effort to be kind to somebody over the coming days. You can choose whatever it is. We're not going to give you any guidance. So who's with us? Oh, thank goodness for that. Now, if you would like to send your act of kindness to the World Kindness Movement Kindness Jar, there's a link on the flyer that you will get, so it would be great to top up that jar. And also, if you're interested or would like to, then please send Jenny and I an email to let us know what you've got up to, because we would love to hear about your experience too. So that's it from us. Thank you, be kind, andiamo!
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing with us your project. So, siamo arrivati a conclusione di questa assemblea, dell'11ª assemblea internazionale del World Kindness Movement, in collaborazione anche con il MIG, tra cui la presidente Natalia Re, che ha dato vita, ha organizzato tutto questo con l'augurio che questo programma possa ripetersi all'infinito. Quindi sono arrivati ai ringraziamenti. Vorrei ringraziare 2 persone in particolare, quindi Natalia Re per avermi dato la possibilità oggi di essere qui con voi. I would like to thank, come here, please, to thank Natalia Re because for me it's very important. I am sharing kindness, thanking to you. I would like to thank you personally. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to conduce and to talk and to share kindness with other speakers and people. Grazie mille, Natalia. Thank you. And I would really love to thank, yes, e voglio ringraziare in realtà una persona a me tantissimo cara, e grazie a lei se sono qui, e grazie a lei se riesco a connettermi anche con le altre persone. Voglio ringraziare Giorgia Butera per essere qui. Sì, vieni. Vieni, voglio ringraziare Giorgia Butera personalmente. Era una sorpresa. Just a surprise. I really want to thank you. I really want to thank you, Georgia, because, you know, she is a pillar, my pillar. It's thanks to you that I can be here with Natalia. Thank you so much. No, c'entra. Grazie. Dimmi. Ok. Voglio ringraziare Giorgia Butera perché è grazie a lei che sono qui e ho imparato, ho conosciuto anche Natalia Re, e grazie a tutte e due, grazie mille. Micro!
Eccoci. In realtà non dovevo essere io sul palco. Quindi è una grande sorpresa. Io sono fiera di essere al fianco del movimento italiano, e già prima che Natalia abbiamo seguito questo percorso insieme. Natalia da ambasciatrice della regione Sicilia e poi Calabria diventa per immediatezza presidente
per magia
per competenza, per empatia. È ammirevole essere qui tutti insieme. Conosco i vostri nomi, conosco le storie, il cammino, la comunicazione, le iniziative. Io mi occupo di diritti umani nazionali e internazionali. Sono appena stata, e questo ci piace sempre dirlo, io sono una oratrice alle Nazioni Unite, ho appena fatto la sessione a Ginevra il mese scorso, a settembre, così dal 2015. La dignità umana, il rispetto delle persone, l'uguaglianza globale, la sostenibilità, l'educazione, l'istruzione e la formazione sono aspetti che noi portiamo avanti quotidianamente. Lo facciamo attraverso la mia organizzazione, Mete, partner tantissime volte del MIG, dell'OIGEC. È un cammino felice, è un cammino di gentilezza. Ascoltarvi è stato importante, è stato accudente anche, avete reso cura a tutti noi del vostro operato. Ringrazio Sofia che non doveva assolutamente chiamarmi sul palco.
E che adesso ti deve anche tradurre.
Perché non c'entra assolutamente nulla. L'appuntamento è per domani, oggi è la prima giornata e domani ci vedremo a Palazzo dei Normanni, adesso Sofia traduce tutto chiaramente.
Yes.
Ci vediamo a Palazzo dei Normanni, una grande presenza italiana, il Ministro della Giustizia, l'onorevole Carlo Nordio, indubbiamente le autorità della Regione Siciliana. A te Sofia.
Grazie mille, grazie ancora a tutte e due. For me it was very important. I tried to translate a little bit her speech. I work with her and she works a lot with Natalia Re. She's a president of another movement, association, so very in contact with the MIG. So for her, she's very proud to be here, to listen all your talks about regarding kindness. So yes, thank you so much, and I invite you for next day tomorrow with other speech, other program, and sharing every single moment, sharing kindness. Thank you so much, and have a nice night.